back. Welcome back. It's still the weekend politics, but at the moment, we just have to take yet another short breather so that we can bring officially to join me on the show the Honorable Commissioner. Okay, but I have signals from the team that is going to be joining me live now. Now, quickly, sometime August 2023, His Excellency the Governor appointed a gentleman who was the Publicity Secretary of the All Progressives Congress as Commissioner for Information. As we speak, he sits pretty as the Secretary of Commissioners Forum in Nigeria, one of the brightest minds in the Executive Cabinet of His Excellency the Governor. I'd like to introduce to us our guest on the show, Honorable Erasmus Ekpan, PhD, the Honorable Commissioner for Information. Good evening, sir, and welcome to Weekend Politics.
Good evening.
So, let me start by saying happy anniversary to His Excellency, happy anniversary to you as well. Talk to us. 3 years, how has it been, this administration?
Thank you so very much. Good evening, Cross Variants. Yeah. So far, this administration of Senator Prince Bassey Odetutu has done its bit. Just like in a school program, we have to, you'll actually graduate with the BSc after 4 years, or medicine and surgery after 6 to 7 years with housemanship inclusive. So we're still in the course of it, but so far I think we have done very, very well, and I would credit him A+ in almost all, the courses and sectors, though we still need to, upgrade in some other, sectors. But so far, so good. I think we have done very well. The administration, considering its dwindling resources to the state, in short, the idea was just to rebed Cross River State. We started by, bringing on investors in the economic summit, and then we do surveys of our, seas for deep sea ports and all that. We actually did a mapping of our soils because we're actually trying to see how to diversify from, the oil chunk is coming too bad. So we wanted to see which crop thrives in, which area and all that. Eventually, after that mapping, we were able to see that most of our crops will thrive almost in we have very arable soil in Cross River State. So the administration was very direct, very purposeful, and of course very real. And of course we brought in a lot of transparency. We tend to address the public and let them understand what we've done in every executive council meeting and many other things. So I think so far so good. We have done a lot of infrastructures, covered a lot of roads, both in the southern senatorial district, central, and the north. In a total, about 436 kilometers of roads have been awarded, and so far so good. We have completed about 110 kilometers, and we're working towards about 316 kilometers. I think that's a fair result for a state with such very dwindling resources. There are many roads within the Calabar metropolis, at least most of us reside here, that were never passable, never even seen, or they'll be done and all that. But eventually we had done such routes and all that. And then you recall we took over a government where reasons based on how it was, a lot of potholes, a lot of people have classified of Golian valleys, even within the state housing axis, Marian roads, there were permanent, boreholes by the First Bank and all that story. But we were able to seal all that up. Of course, the environment was not too clean. We had to start disinfecting, brought back the sanitation, environmental sanitation and all that. But like I said carefully, even there are a lot of other areas we need to improve because we're still in a class of its own, like we're still not yet graduated to get a degree. We've done well in our health sectors, yet we still need some level of improvement too. We rehabilitated close to 95 health centers across the state, equipped them, and then through the help of the World Bank Impact Project. And then in agriculture, we have even introduced new seedlings, the coffee, we have wheat, a lot of crops that were never, introduced in areas. Like you can actually see that the cocoa can grow in the south. The idea was always the central Calabar and all that. A lot of grants have been given to farmers extension officers have been given bikes, to aid and facilitate their, jobs and all that. Now, of course, in welfare, His Excellency is so humane and has done so very well. Gratuities were never paid since about 2009. He started with the first phase, approved the sum of 10 billion naira from 2009 to about 2014, where gratuities were never paid, because we look at that, our folks, our old parents, that, people going through a lot of drugs, monies and all that are always an issue. So His Excellency thought it wise to actually approve the payment of the gratuities and pension. Of course, a lot of other grants. We had seen about 500 retirees with about 500,000 to boost them, because nowadays we see very young retirees. Instead of them to just stay home, fold their hands, we try to give them that to start up a small business if they can and all that. And of course, even for farmers, the young boys had been given the sum of about 400 of them, or there about 2 million naira. A total of about 800 million was approved for that project, for them to actually go through with their farming activities, make it easier for them and all that. And then, of course, through the social intervention scheme, establishment of that exercise, of course, we know that a lot of about 200 electric motor vehicles, 500 tricycles, and then 10 electric buses. Of course, we have about 100 electric buses, were bought by the state. The essence is people will be wondering why it's coming now, but the idea for Senator Prince Baselodo was, where was the road these cars would drive? These cars are very slick, soundless and all that. So we needed to fix our roads, and I think we're ready for it, and this has been purchased, and of course, you know how much this would mean to the common cross-area, and jobs would be, people will be again employed. This is going to give about more than 4,000 jobs to drivers, people who will be actually servicing points, and all that. And then just lately, His Excellency, for our councillors who are governors of our various wards, about 196 of them, His Excellency recently approved a grant of about 10 million each for them to actually uptake the car of their choice, for them to be mobile. Of course, we understand they are very important in what they do and all that. And he didn't just stop there. Our permanent secretaries, some have been going through a lot, but you wouldn't blame the state, because we are very happy what we're doing, and we're trying to get it right at the appropriate time. Just on my event, the anniversary proper on Friday, June 12th, we're actually given brand new cars, electric vehicles, to aid their mobility and a lot of other incentives. The sector has done well, and the good news too, we just landed a new CRJ 1000 series to aid our air travels. We had gone through a lot of problems with trying to fly to Abuja. You hear cancellations, flights have been taken out and all that, but I want to assure us here across the region that we have a way to get out of this state every day. We have the Value Jet flying every day. We have the Cali Value Jet agreements flying almost every day. And then, of course, the Aero contractor through us to the Cali Air, flying interval like 3 times in a week and all that. So at least that has sorted some level of air. But we're still going to get more, jet to ensure that we reach the Federal Aviation's regulations tariff of about 7 flights for us to own our fleet and, be on our own and all that. So I think we have done very well. We have taken the Obudu Airport, cargo airport that had started by the then administration from a possible 45% thereabout to about 80-something%. We're just left with about a kilometer point something to do. Yeah, there are some slows in it. We had promised we're going to commission it far last year thereabout, but there's some variation issues and then lots of contractors and all that. So we need to actually revisit the scene and start it all over. So I think so far so good. In almost every local government and everywhere, this government has really, touched. I just mentioned a few because I believe strongly that by the time we want to go through everything here, I think we won't have, time. Of course, you're aware that tractors were actually at very subsidiary, about 108 mini tractors were, disbursed to farmers, and these farmers were actually profiled, to know that they're actually serious with what they're doing, and then of course they have farmlands and, a lot of other things. So I think so far so good. His Excellency are doing power, electricity. We have almost powered the areas like, there were some issues with the Bekwara axis. where after, tensioning that, we had a tree falling into a high tension that disrupted, but as I speak to you now, it's been fixed and all that. The areas in Akpabuyo, Bias, some level side of Akan, but I had never seen NEPA in their lives, so brought that back. And then, of course, the big one, if we talk of the roads construction, Iyala has always been left out to some extent. So we are ongoing renovation of that Wadiland, Okele Road, Akria Bridge, ongoing, not completed. So we are trying our best. The Adiabo Ikeneche Road gives you 8 minutes drive from 8 miles to Adiabo. I mean, that is wonderful for His Excellency. So we're touching everywhere. And the idea about this thing is not when people, though we are very focused, so we are not bothered, because even Jesus Christ actually was crucified. And of course, I would say to anybody that the first election started when you had to compare Jesus Christ and Barabbas, where they had to ask to choose, and then people actually voted Jesus out and then voted Barabbas in. At the end of the day, when he was crucified, a lot of, so most times you sit down to talk, you don't understand the hot seat, what someone's going to say. Prince Otu is so passionate about Cross River State, and he's so involved in trying to get Cross River State back to its status. We have lost a lot of things. Today, we are recovering a lot of our assets. Tinapa Resort was taken out by AMCOM since 2014, and today we've recovered it back. The Marina Resort was almost done and out. Thank God for the latest appointment His Excellency has just done. We are bringing a veteran such as Eric Anderson to, mount the Silima section as special advisor. It means that a lot of good things are coming back to us. So I think the vision and true will for Cross River State is up. So for us, we are not bothered about critics are expected. It's electionary year. People could just wake up and start talking. We accept all that. We are not bothered, but be factual about what we're saying would actually take you to where we are. That's why if you look at my programs as the Minister of Information, for any events I anchor, you have the 1st October events, you have the anniversaries events, and you see that my program is not just a simple program. You just look at what is a compendium of what some of most of those projects actually are. So you don't need to talk much. You can argue that with me. If you're doubtful about what you see down, I can take you on the ride and you see it for yourself. Yeah.
Okay, great.
So just that we don't have time. There are a lot of other things here. And let me just clear it here that imagine a Cross River State in the next 3 years. Thanks to Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who has actually, foresight brought out. It's the luck of Senator Prince Bassett. This is good luck, because he has always told us Cross River State is owned and governed by Governor Jesus. And then you can see that, not that this road will terminate in Ebonyi or Enugu. We are having the Lagos Coastal Road terminating here in Calabar. We're very close to Kupani Junction. If you pass through there now, it's what you see. I just came in from my local government booking. The solar lights all are on. They've gone some kilometers. And then look at Cross River State again. The Federal Executive Council approved for the deep sea port. We had already done a 1 kilometer walkway for the commissioning and groundbreaking of that. Just imagine the amount of employment, a lot of the revenue that would bring to Cross River State. Already Afrexim Bank has committed to sourcing 3.5 billion to it. So I think Cross River State is very, very okay with it. And then of course Cross River State, sorry to cut you again, was out of the 8 special agro processing zone, was actually chosen among all the South states as the only one where the Vice President actually can done the groundbreaking. So we are trying to uptake our agricultural produce. We are trying to get most of our facilities ready. Cross River State will remain one of the safest states in Nigeria. That to hear even a knockout in months. We just have to commend this man and say that God actually brought Senator Prince Bassett at the time Cross River State needed it the most. It's not to be a governor, but how planned are you to run this, administration and all that?
Honourable Commissioner, sir, you actually revealed quite a lot that His Excellency has done. But let's also look at yet another thematic area, which is education. When he came in, I'd like you to, there are a lot of information surrounding the WAEC payment of fees and all of that. I'd like you to talk to Cross Riverians watching you right now.
Yeah, thank you so very much. Education, it's one of, it's key to us in Cross River State. The fact that we speak today, most of what we are doing today, how we speak and how we position ourselves depends on the kind of school, the kind of training we got. And of course, it goes a lot. So Senator Prince Bassett have foreseen Cross River State in the next future to to ensure that most of our pupils are encouraged to go to school. We started by paying WAEC fees, encourage parents, because fees have always been a problem. Fees, housing have always been a problem for people. So for now, Cross River State, for our indigenes, we do our state-owned school. We do free WAEC fees. We have done that consecutively for 3 years, and then of course we have digitalized our results. No more analog. We're gone at those days where you'd actually wait for weeks to actually see your results, but actually being digitalized. So we have established the University of Education and Entrepreneurship in Akamkpa. We upgraded from the COU it was to College of Education, and of course College of Agriculture and Science and Technology in Obubra. What are we even saying? We're actually bringing these universities close to your doorsteps, so that we don't expect you to travel thousands of miles, or saying that because I don't have money to send my child. You have these universities that are working towards being accredited, that you can actually attend these universities. And of course, there's another one through with the collaboration of the Ahmadu Bello University that's coming up in Bekwara too. So we have done all that, and of course, most of our regularization of staffs teachers training institute for West Africa. That's it's in Biase. Yes, that was a very wonderful project that started by the then administration of Senator Professor Ben Ayade. And of course, like His Excellency had said earlier on, I'm not coming here to waste people tax pay us money, to consolidate on those very okay projects that then administrations have. Like getting Tinapa was initiated by Donald Duke. Of course, we've gotten it back, and of course, that of the Teachers Training Institute. So I think for education, we have done well. There's still a lot of truth to bear. A lot of secondary schools have been, renovated, revitalized. A few in my community, in my area in Buki, and of course, a lot spread across and all that. We still need to improve more. Because we have schools that we actually need to still revisit. So, we even ask for people to bring it on, so that where we don't know, you don't need to insult, but actually point out where you think it is necessary for us to visit, and gradually, everything comes to a budget. We visit it, but I think so far so good. A veteran and Senator Professor Stephen Ode is there as Commissioner for Education, and I tell you, he's been doing very, very well. The last mock, he went himself to supervise. One very thorough student to come out from Cross River, and we're proud of it.
Now, in the last 3 years, talk to us about the challenges this administration has faced.
Thank you so very much. One of the biggest challenges we have is not actually getting all what is ours. I'll say it clearly, because by the grace of God, it's clear that we're on television. I didn't need to say this, but I think by the time we get our wells back to us, I think Cross River State will stand very, very strong. And then we have some other sectors we need to improve upon. But in the wisdom of His Excellency, most of these sectors have been added to clusters where you're not strong enough, you have a cluster that can support. So I think we have been pushing so very well in works, infrastructure. The finances of our IGR has improved. We are doing, where our leakages has been blocked, and then of course we are very, how they call it? A trusted state that investors can actually do business with. And then of course in agriculture we are doing very, very wonderful information for the first time in 20 years, and of course it will go down history that His Excellency Senator Prince Bassett, if not for anything, was able to wake back the Chronicle edifice, now turning it to information hub, where you have the Cross River State printing press. We don't have any now, with more than 14 state-of-the-art digital equipment, and about 95% completion. But just we need to choose a date now. That edifice will last another 20, 30 years for him to be remembered. Apart from even the optics of our handles, we have brought in handles, our daily bulletin. And of course, dissemination of information in a manner that His Excellency in 4 months was able to be awarded from different international, national medias up to about 5 times. It tells that we tell the story, but the impression I want to clear is it's not every propaganda we just go into. You understand my point? You cannot expect the state as Commissioner for Information to respond to somebody just walking on the street and decide to feel that I want to say this about the state because if I were governor, I would do this. It's only when you are, that's when you can do it. So for us, we go very hard for programs and policies. So I think even the health sectors have done very well. Of late, I'm aware through the MDA, the Medical Association, crossover chapter, the employment of about 21 doctors. We're actually looking for these doctors because we are taking their salaries to meet up with federal government level and all that. And I think so far innovation, just few days. I mean, if I want to mention those key things, just few days now, we just landed on an CRO. This administration bought two, now the third one, and we're heading for two more. And so I think, there are some areas we need to, environment areas, a lot of people have cried that trees should be pruned because you notice that whenever there's a serious downpour, drainages are blocked, the trees need to be pruned. They fall on cars, injure people and all that. So if you go through state housing, and a lot, the environment team are working. Absolutely. So we need to know these things to work on them.
Absolutely. Now, Commissioner, let me take, I will call it the last bit one. Let's look at politics now in the states. Some weeks back, we had primaries in the state, and some of the party men were aggrieved. Talk to us about the reconciliation process that His Excellency is putting in place to bring back everyone into the fold.
Thank you so very much. Politics, that's a very difficult one. For politics, I wouldn't say it's a negative cult, it's a positive cult. If you're not strong enough to be a politician, you better not join it because it's always very exciting when it looks like you're the one winning and you're the one they choose. The day they don't choose, you feel very bad. It's always like, wait, your turn will always come. Or if it has come, let others people enjoy it. We have done very well in Cross River State. I tell you, and for me, I'm praying that this time around, from about the 260,000 votes or thereabout, His Excellency got to win, we should actually take his and Asiwaju's own high up, get more votes, both in the presidential and election. Now, if you look at this politics, politicians were actually meant to reach their people and talk to people. I mean, how much is enough? I'm not going to criticize anybody, but we felt a lot of our leaders out there did not really. There was that break in communication between them and the grassroots. Some have done very well. Even those that their media teams did not do well had done well. But at some point, in the caucus level, in the leadership stakeholders level, we needed to look at politicians, knowing that we're a state, we're seeing if we can get our wells. A lot of things we're expecting from Cross River State. We're trying to boost our votes so that we'll get more national recognition and all that. So we need some of these, our National Assembly members, State Assembly, that can actually speak and talk, that can just make some, not just be quiet, even when you're make some impact. His Excellency cannot just be carrying all the files, going through every office, fighting for our cause. I mean, even just standing up there for us to see a national crying on a particular cause always. I think we are all very dogged and rugged people. So it's a painful part. A lot of our very good friends were actually, step back. But I want to say that the polity itself, because it is a system, I want to appeal to most of them that feel aggrieved to, reconcile their facts and not to be too on national, national news, trying to talk down on the state. Just because it wasn't you now, you're not talking down. Remember when it was you, the state was the best, they were the best people and all that. And I want to tell you that in life, everything is about grace. How much is enough, like I always ask. Where you see our biggest problem is corruption. They've given an appointment, it's not a commissioner, it's time for him to chop. Why don't you use the word like it's time for him to, serve the people, service to humanity? Because we don't sleep. I know when I tried to sleep yesterday, I knew I just came back from my community all the way 5 hours and I'm here now. And only God knows what is laid ahead for me. So I think of my community, I think of my people, and I think almost every other politician should go on that. So I think it's a period we are going to reconcile them. His Excellency has put out a very solid team. If you look at the caliber of the persons that are members of this, there are people that have tutored us over time. One of my mentors, even when it comes to speaking, where I know even as Commissioner of Information, maybe for 8 years, I'll never ever speak as him. It's High Chief Edem. You understand? He's a mentor to me. And of course, we have people like veterans, like people like Barrister George Ekungu, who we understood his integrity level, we understood how he was Secretary EFCC. Of course, we have Sir Maurice Achibon. You have Ambassador Ketu Kun. A lot of, we mix them from the north, Larry O'Day, His Excellency Larry O'Day and all that. So these are people that have been our boss and continue to be our bosses. So however aggrieved you are, I think if you see these people knocking on your door to appeal to you, relax your thoughts. There are a lot of opportunities out there. We need to just take the votes higher, and then all of them will be accommodated. Sometimes, I tell you, even just being a commissioner, you can be exposed to a lot of funds, even if you can't take them since they're not your personal vote, and even a National Assembly member. So it doesn't matter the name of where you are placed. What can you bring to the table? What can you offer? So we should all chill, see ourselves as one family. I believe that Senator Prince Basedodo have all of us in mind. I tell you the truth. You need to be, of course, you're a compare. You know how he is. He's very humane and he's true, he's straight to the fact.
Absolutely.
And for me, I would always say anytime. They can always say things against me or abuse me because he's there and all that. It's one of the best things that ever happened to me in my life to work with a man such as Senator Prince Basedodo.
Great, absolutely. Now, but let me just do the last shot before you go. Honorable Commissioner, let's look at a year, 3 years gone, and some fractions. So we have less than a year to wrap up this particular term before re-election. What should Cross Riverians be looking out for, from the administration of Prince Basedodo, at least the next, that's about 1 year to go?
Thank you so very much. We're actually having ongoing projects. We're going to complete some before the end of this tenure. I know by the grace of God, we're giving him. The last time we struggled, we won massively with 15 local government out of the 18th. And even the other three, they're very minute fractions. But this time we're giving the whole 18 local government, tripling the votes by the grace of God. And then, of course, we should be looking at development of the deep sea port, Calabar deep sea port. Beautiful, wonderful. I mean, it's one of the best things that ever happened to Calabar coming to existence under the watch of Senator Prince Basedodo to actualize it now. And then, of course, the revival of Tinapa resorts too. We're looking at trying to, we're getting investors and people that means well to see how they can uptake Tinapa and turn it to either, something that is not ours, so it's our business to actually decide, what. And of course, sometime before the end of this year, we're hosting the strategic platform, like the ASPNet conference in Calabar. That it means that the whole Africa will be here. So that is why, as the ESCO itself, we have gone ahead to approve some funds to take out CICC, put it in a better light and all that, to host all this. So I think we should be expecting a wonderful Cross River State where there is adequate security, where you can actually, for investors can actually get their CFOs in less than 2 weeks, 3 weeks, where we're expecting the groundbreaking and start point for the deep sea port, and of course a lot of our agricultural produce in a manner that we will be self-sufficient in agriculture and of course enough to export that. If you look at Cross River State geographically, we're even closer to one of the biggest economies, that's China. If you look at us very well, however you want to look at it. So we have a lot in what we have seen in this administration where we're going to take them. But all I want to urge Cross River is let us be positive. Let's not just sit down and feel we can just propagate things that are not true just because almost every other person wants to be like a journalist. You can just, Facebook is just to buy 500 naira data. And once you now say the Commissioner of Information is a thief, people just, yes, he is. People just, even those that are not knowing. And in many times, a lot of times, I have gone privately to call this person, explain to them what I've done, send some few to say, we are very, very sorry. We didn't know, but the damage has gone out there. You cannot go and pull it out because we've done it. So let's be positive, Cross River, and we are actually under very, very capable hands. Honestly, it's very glaring for us to see. And let me tell you something. Let me tell us. A lot of roads in Calabar South, even in the central and all that, have been using. They've not been commissioned. We don't believe in actually bringing AIT channels to commission 3-kilometer road and do it live coverage. But maybe we'll start that now since we want to see it. Otherwise, the clean road just by what market? People are using it with solar light. When did we commission it? We never commissioned it. So there's no law that says you must commission, but people have so shouted. So just one project they has commissioned. I wonder what is even just going on that people don't want to even understand or see what's happening, but you just have that. So please, I want to beg them to unfree their hearts and let's be positive. For now, Senator Prince Basedodo is governor of Cross River State. The only thing you need to do is to support him, encourage him. Till any year after 2031, you think your party can come in. For now, you have to pray that because the state goes down, you living here will go down too.
Absolutely.
But so far, I think we're doing very well.
Absolutely.
Thank you so very much.
Honorable Dr. Rasmus Ekpang is the Honorable Commissioner for Information in our state. Thank you very much, sir, for your time on the show.
Thank you so very much.
We look forward to having you more as we move into the political and electioneering era.
Thank you so very much.
We'll take a very short break. When we are back, I'll be talking with the gentleman that has always been a regular face, and also he'll be giving us a journey, the background, full background from 1992 till date as we go through the democratic process. Stay with us. Quick and Politics return shortly. Don't go away.